If you found this video, it's clear that you understood that you need to change your lifestyle. Keep watching and you'll thank me later.
Jeff, my chest!
Honey, what's wrong?
My heart is racing. I think I'm having a heart attack.
Air traffic control, we need to make an emergency medical landing. My wife's having a heart attack.
I watched as my beautiful wife of 29 years was rushed into the ER. I crumbled to the ground like a bag of bricks, convinced she was going to die, and that it was all my fault. I knew her heart wasn't in the best of shape because of her weight, and the doctor had warned us, and she hated flying, but I thought being up there would comfort her soul and bring a smile to her face. But it was only weeks ago that she received the devastating news that the aneurysm on her aorta had grown in size. Any more, her cardiologist said, and she would need dangerous open-heart surgery. But if she could lose at least 50 pounds, that would help prevent her artery from splitting in two. So you see, this wasn't the first time Cindy was told to lose weight, and it's not like she wasn't trying to lose weight either. But every failed diet, every gym membership, exercise class, and detox cleanse would convince her that it would never happen, and that she was destined to be overweight, unattractive, and according to her, a lonely old woman whose husband no longer found her sexy, which crushed my soul because it wasn't true. I promised to be there for her through thick and thin, sickness and in health, and I still loved her as much as I did the first night that we met. And still, after 29 years, I made sure to be there for her through it all. Every diet, like keto, carnivore, South Beach, and Atkins, every time she laced up her running shoes at 5 a.m. to go jogging. But no matter how much work she put in, or how often she measured her food or counted her calories, the scale refused to budge. And over time, I could see the cracks forming. She became more distant, more depressed, more low, and the woman that had changed my life began slipping away, while her once slim and healthy body started to break down, and here was the end result of it all. I blamed myself. I blamed the doctors for not helping her. I even blamed the diets that she tried for their broken promises. But at the end of the day, it was there in the hospital, after the most terrifying event of our lives, that our paths would be altered forever, pushing me on a quest that uncovered the real root cause of uncontrollable weight gain that's caused by a slow metabolism. And eventually, I stumbled upon a 60-second, once-per-week morning habit from a group of holy men on top of Mount Athos in Greece that reversed 30 years of grueling age on Cindy's metabolism, allowing her to melt off 1 pound of pure body fat overnight, and a total of 4 pounds by the end of her first week, plus another 51 pounds from the rest of her body in the coming weeks. But more importantly, she lost the deadly type of fat that turned her heart into a ticking time bomb, going from this to this as she shed the depression and sadness that made her feel less than, while transforming back into the beautifully slender, bubbly butterfly that stopped me dead in my tracks years ago. Because shockingly, what I discovered and what you're about to see as the true root cause of a slow metabolism that invites pounds of fat into your body has nothing to do with your genetics, a lack of exercise, food, or getting older. No, it turns out the real villainous cause for all your stubborn weight is just one master hormone that's actually caused your metabolism to age faster than your biological age. It's true, and it's floating around your body this second. According to prominent researchers from both Harvard Medical and the Institutes of Health, it's the #1 reason your body has gained all the weight while increasing your risk of developing diabetes and dementia. See, not many people know about this, but it's as real and as serious as a deadly heart attack. But don't worry, this 1,500-year-old, once-per-week morning habit has been found to corral this hormonal fugitive as your metabolism reverses in age, doubling your fat-burning potential so you lose every square inch of fat that you've hated seeing in the mirror for years. It's a secret that's been hiding in plain sight for over 1,000 years, that's made these holy men some of the healthiest and slimmest human beings on planet Earth without dieting, exercising, or following any weird cleanses. This ancient morning habit guarantees your metabolism burns brighter and hotter as the days go on, especially if you've been struggling with your weight, as you still enjoy your favorite foods throughout the week. And because this 60-second, once-per-week habit is so biologically sound and safe, I felt it would be a crime to keep this to ourselves, considering it saved my wife's life, a few of our close friends, and thousands of others. So now, it's your turn. Just make sure to keep watching, because I'm convinced those in power would hate for you to hear about this belly-flattening, life-changing miracle. I'll share more about this with you in a second, so please turn up the volume and pay attention. Because in the next few minutes, I'll peel back the curtain and show you all the weight that you've gained was not your fault. Because when I reveal what I personally was told by one of Greece's top research physicians, you'll be blown away as he reveals the 3 most believed fat loss fibs responsible for piling on pounds to your frame. And I'll also be showing you how this one runaway hormone is the sole reason your metabolism has aged so quickly after the age of 35 and has come to a complete stop as fat gets slapped onto your body. Plus the 60-second once-per-week morning trick that instantly turns back the hands of time on your metabolism to remove this deadly fat while keeping your hunger at bay, your blood sugar pristine, and your energy levels topped off. This is a fact and not hype, and why everything you'll be hearing today is backed by some of the toughest, most scrutinized studies in the medical industry. Now, not many people know about this. And that's why it's so important that you stick around, because you won't get this life-saving belly-flattening knowledge anywhere else. So if you want a foolproof, once-per-week, simple method that unravels years of fat around your midsection 24 hours per day, even while you sleep, something that's steeped deep in science and celebrated for over 1,500 years, please lean in and pay attention to this limited-time video. Just like these other 33,219 men and women who've lost an average of 43 pounds of fat practically overnight using this simple yet powerful method, I'm confident this can work for you no matter your age, genetics, or situation. If you have 5 pounds to lose or 50 pounds, if you're 18 or 88, it doesn't matter. Especially if you've tried all the weight loss diets, exercise programs, and detoxes that flash across your TV and computer screen every day. And with everything I'm saying, I understand if you're a bit skeptical. There's so much wacky information and lies spewed by greedy TV doctors looking to make money, plus trainers and celebrities touting their beach body on Instagram, that it's no wonder you might be skeptical. But just like Bethany, who said, "I followed your 60-second ritual, and I'm shocked. You've turned a skeptic into a believer, and now my husband can't stop chasing me around the house. I've lost 39 pounds. Thanks." I'm more than confident that this can work for you too. So if you're ready to shed the lies and finally listen to real people who've experienced real results without a $1 million endorsed celebrity sporting a tummy tuck, then you're right where you need to be. But first, I have a confession to make. Certain individuals who are much more powerful than myself are trying to get this taken down. Just last year, people spent upwards of $100 billion on weight loss. So I hate to say this, but these fat cats in their penthouses have a vested interest in you not succeeding. They want you to remain overweight, sad, unhappy, and depressed, because then you'll just have to buy more of their gimmicks and gadgets. So this video is the last thing that they want you to discover, because it can literally save your life just by following the same simple 60-second once-per-week morning habit that allowed Cindy to reclaim her figure, losing over 50 pounds and a total of 12 inches, while stabilizing her blood sugar, reducing her blood pressure, and bulletproofing her body from disease, especially cancer, as you'll soon see in just a moment. So please don't go anywhere. I'm opening the door for you right here on this page to experience a radical loss in body fat that'll leave those close to you speechless, while also freeing your mind from the trappings of depression and sadness that might have held you back because of your weight. Just imagine ordering whatever you want and enjoying it without a hint of guilt and without others' judgment. Just imagine the confidence you'll gain to be freely intimate again without turning off the lights, or the brand new wardrobe that you'll have to buy that fits perfectly on your new frame in all the right places. All you have to do is walk through this door that I'm opening for you in this video. So, are you ready? Make sure to keep watching till you're done. I don't want you to miss out on the most important part of this presentation. So please put away all distractions because we don't have much time here. Hi there, I'm Jeff King, Cindy's husband, and I want you to know that I'm not a physician, a dietitian, or a trainer. I'm actually a full-time chef who's operated restaurants all over while running numerous food banks. Volunteering is a shared passion of ours, and it's something that we really believe in because so many people have so little. And it's why we love helping our fellow neighbors. And yet, despite all of this, the one person whom I loved and cared about the most, I couldn't help at all. And why our story might sound a lot like yours. Cindy and I fell in love the moment she walked into the restaurant that I was working for. I was delivering a plate of saffron risotto with chicken, and when I reached the table, my heart stopped. We looked at each other as if time stood still, and I knew she was the one. A few years later, we were married. Then we had our firstborn. Now, Cindy gained 38 pounds during her first pregnancy, but was able to lose it after giving birth. However, after her second pregnancy, things changed. Her body refused to shrink back, and it was a struggle for over a year. And then as the years went by, her weight slowly crept up. And sadly, many times I'd walk in on Cindy getting ready for work, and she'd be standing there at the closet, clothes all over the bed, almost in tears, because she couldn't find anything that fit her comfortably. But the worst happened one night on our anniversary after getting back from an amazing dinner. We both got into bed, and as I reached over, she grabbed my hand and asked me not to touch her. And startled, I said, "Honey, what's wrong?" "Jeff," she said, "I just don't feel like myself anymore. I feel disgusting, fat, ugly, and not sexy. I hate to admit this, sweetie, but the times we've been intimate, I only did it to please you, and I'm scared you're going to leave me or find another woman." That night was when it made sense to me. I knew she was struggling, but I had no idea how her weight was making her feel so low. And that's when our relationship began to struggle. But now with this diagnosis, it was literally the straw that broke the camel's back. Her aorta was ready to burst at a moment's notice if she didn't lose the weight, which skyrocketed this one runaway hormone even more so, that we later discovered was responsible for accelerating the age of her metabolism, making it impossible for her to permanently lose this deadly weight. So if you've ever believed your slow metabolism was the culprit to all of your weight gain, so slow in fact that you're looking at a slice of pizza, cookies, or cake and you can feel your belly swelling in size, then make sure to keep watching here. Because I remember walking into the living room one night and Cindy was there on the couch, eating the kids' Lunchables that we'd given them for school with an empty bag of chips and crumbs all over the place. And I knew then and there she was at her breaking point. So I did what I thought at the time was a great idea. So it was always her dream to hike Machu Picchu. So when I surprised her one Sunday morning with breakfast in bed and the airline tickets underneath the plate of eggs and French toast, instead of jumping for joy, she just looked down and wept. And it's not really the reaction that I was expecting. This has been her dream since she was in college as an anthropology major. So I'd already arranged for the kids to stay with her grandparents. I wasn't exactly sure what the problem was. She just looked down and in between tears said, "Jeff, I'm 50 pounds overweight. I get out of breath just walking up our 2-story house. I'm always tired, my knees and feet hurt if I'm on them too long, and plus my heart. How am I going to hike miles at high altitude? Look at me, Jeff, just look at me." As she pulled up her shirt to show me her stomach, then she grabbed my hand and placed it on her thigh. "This is fat. Fat that'll be with me forever. I'll never be able to see Machu Picchu carrying all of this. And besides, why would you want to go with me anyways? I know you don't want to be seen out in public with your fat wife." My mouth dropped, and I tried to console her because it wasn't true. I couldn't imagine what Cindy was going through for her to say that. So after giving her some space later that day, I asked if she wanted to take a flight with me. You see, since I can remember, I was obsessed with only two things: cooking and being in the sky. And I eventually settled on being a chef, but I promised myself that one day I'd get my pilot's license. And Cindy hated the idea of me flying and was only up there one time before. But that day I almost pleaded with her to join. I was trying to do everything in my power to help get her mind off of things. And lo and behold, she agreed, reluctantly. But she did agree, and that's when our lives completely changed forever, over 9,000 feet in the air. She grabbed her chest and screamed, and I looked over at her face. It was beet red, sweat pouring down her forehead. She was having a heart attack, so we thought. And all I could do was pray as I descended. It was the scariest, slowest, and longest 7 minutes of my life until we touched back down. And immediately the ambulance was there waiting, and we were off to the hospital. They made me wait outside, but I frantically paced back and forth. I couldn't imagine life without her and having to tell our children. But when they came and got me and told me she was okay, I just broke down and cried. I walked into her room and there were tubes and machines all over. I grabbed her hand and we just wept together. And I asked the doctor what happened, and he said, luckily, it's nothing more than a major panic attack. But we want to keep her overnight because of her aneurysm. The hospital is the safest place for her to be. So the whole night while she slept, I just held her hand and talked to her. And I promised right there we'd fix this together and get her back on track to lose the weight, heal her heart, and hopefully one day take that trip to Machu Picchu. The next morning, I asked the doctor what her lab results looked like, if there was anything that we could do to help her lose weight, besides the usual advice of eating less and exercising more. He said that there was one hormone that was strikingly high. So high, in fact, that he'd never seen it that high before, and was only common in those who are morbidly obese in excess of 300 pounds. So I asked him which hormone, and he just pointed to her chart and he left. In my entire life, I've never heard of this hormone. So that night when she was discharged, I went upstairs in my office and started doing a little research. I wanted to get to the bottom of why Cindy couldn't lose the 50 pounds no matter how much she dieted or exercised, because she never had this type of problem before. Remember, she lost all the baby weight during both pregnancies, but now it was virtually impossible. So just maybe this little hormone was the culprit? I mean, I don't know. But I did know this from common sense, that having a slow metabolism makes it harder for you to lose weight and easier to gain it. So if we could speed up Cindy's metabolism again, it's common sense that she'd be able to lose all the weight once and for all. So for example, most children that you see can eat whatever they want and never get fat. Their young metabolisms are firing on all cylinders. However, with time, it's obvious our metabolism slows, which tells our body to store fat. But why does it slow down with age? And how can we speed it up like when we were younger? Because during my travels as a chef, I knew age couldn't have been the answer. There had to be another reason why, because in many parts of the modern world, like many Asian countries, chronic weight gain rarely exists as you get up in age. But here, it's an epidemic of biblical proportions. So I kept digging, trying to find out why exactly your metabolism supposedly slows down with age and your belly and body swell in size as time goes on. And in the end, I couldn't find the answer. Or why this one hormone, glucagon, was so elevated in her blood results. There had to be a connection, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And why slowly but surely, I began to lose hope. Everywhere I turned, I was given the same advice about weight loss from friends and family members, even a few trainers that I connected with on Facebook. All of them told me to tell Cindy to lower her portions and increase the exercise. And I knew that wasn't going to work. So instead, I resorted to a higher power. I've seen miracles happen before, and I just prayed Cindy's story would be one of them, because everywhere I turned was basically a closed door. But then, in the most unlikeliest of places, something happened that would change our destiny while giving us a glimmer of hope. It was exactly 1 month later, and the airport was hosting a party for everyone where they invited new and old members from the past to network and share their love for flying. So anyways, I showed up alone because Cindy was too tired, and I met an unassuming man. He introduced himself as Christos, and we started talking. Well, it turns out Christos was a Greek-born physician and was attending the party with a friend. We talked about our passion for flying, food, and especially Greek cuisine, cooking, and the differences between our respective countries. And the more we talked, the more I was impressed. Christos was smart, he was intelligent, and just a nice human being. He asked me if I'd come alone, and I told him yes, that my wife Cindy was home with the kids. She didn't feel like attending because she was way too tired still after being discharged from the hospital. And that's when he asked what happened, and I couldn't hold back about Cindy's heart condition. Her weight and how she needed to lose at least 50 pounds fast, but nothing we tried seemed to work. Even when we followed the doctor's orders precisely, she'd lose weight and gain it back. And that's when I confessed to him, a complete stranger, that I was scared Cindy was going to die. That one day, because of her weight, her aorta would burst and she'd bleed out within seconds right in front of me and our kids. Her situation was real and time was ticking. That's when Christos put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Jeff, I told you I'm a physician, but I'm actually a research physician for the Ministry of Health in Greece. And currently we're focused on the mechanisms of obesity in our adult population. You see, we're a very healthy country. We eat mostly fresh food that's locally sourced. So I'm sure you know we love our olive oil, which is true. Most of us have a few olive trees on our property, but recently I noticed an uptick in obesity inside our country, and it worries me. Both my parents died from complications of obesity, so it's something that's hit close to home. And if I can do something to stop it, I'm going to try my hardest." And that's when I asked him if he's found anything in his research that could help those like Cindy. And that's when Christos really opened up. You could tell this was his passion and life's work. And he said, "Jeff, when you eat less, you lose weight. And when you eat more, you gain weight. That's what's supposed to happen. However, we've noticed in our adult population, these individuals were actually eating less, but gaining weight." So let me repeat that. These men and women with each passing birthday were eating less calories overall, but gaining weight in all the wrong areas. It's the exact opposite of what's supposed to happen. And for over a year, we couldn't figure out why, but that's when we stumbled upon a discrete study out of the annals of medicine that gave us a starting point. And the more we dug deep, the more we realized the answer to the world's obesity crisis. It's something that I'm sure can help Cindy as well. Because it turns out there's a way to effectively roll back the age on our metabolic engine like you were a kid all over again, so you burn through pounds of fat around the clock. So you see, Jeff, when you get this right, you'll also close the door on many diseases like cancer, dementia, heart disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and more. This unique superpower is already built into your DNA. You just need to flip the switch with a few simple tweaks, which I'll share with you. The sad thing is the major drug companies know about this too, but they refuse to put their billions of dollars to work helping the millions permanently lose weight. They're vicious, and that's why they'll never promote what I'm about to share with you here. That's why I promise you, you haven't heard about this before, but we've noticed when you go against this conventional wisdom, the weight immediately falls off your body and your health markers like cholesterol, triglycerides, A1C, blood sugar, and more, they improve dramatically. Now, the first lie we discovered was that you have to eat 3 meals per day to fuel your metabolism. We found that this might be the single greatest threat to maintaining your figure that actually ages your metabolism. According to 32 supporting studies over time, eating this way gradually adds fat around your midsection while making your metabolism resistant to burning fat. Eating this way literally tells your metabolism to stop burning body fat because of the roller coaster spikes in blood sugar. Now remember that switch I told you about? When you're soaked in glucose from the spikes in blood sugar, the switch that keeps your metabolism youthful shuts off and fat burning comes to a screeching halt. Now, you could go on a low-carb diet to remove some of this glucose out of your body, but there's a lot more to it than that. And I'll show you why in just a second, because if you don't fix this, your metabolism will continue to grow old and eventually slow to a dead stop. So here's the second lie, he said. I promise when I show you the true stats about exercise and losing weight, you'll kick yourself for wasting all of those hours in a sweaty gym. It turns out, he said, exercise does very little to help you lose weight. It's like dropping a pedal in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And just to prove that to you, take a look at this study on my phone. According to the data, 1 pound of pure body fat is 3,500 calories. If you wanted to burn off this 1 pound, you'd need to perform 14.5 hours of sit-ups in a row. While another analysis of over 20 exercise studies concluded that the amount of calories burned during exercise had no correlation with weight loss. So to put it bluntly, exercising to lose weight is like chasing after fool's gold. You'll never get what you're after. And the biggest lie we've uncovered is that if you're born with a slow metabolism, you'll die with a slow metabolism. The research just proves this to be 100% false. We've actually found that those born with a slower metabolic rate actually have triple the amount of fat-burning power in their body than someone who's naturally skinny. You just need a way to tap into this superpower. And we believe we finally found the answer. He said, you see, these patterns indirectly tell your body to pile on more fat over the years while shutting off the very system that keeps your metabolism young like a child's and fast like an athlete's. So now, really think about it. If lowering your calories, eating multiple times per day, and exercising was the cure, how come we still have a chronic weight gain epidemic? Why is disease spiraling out of control? And in the end, Jeff, all of this does nothing to fix the root cause of weight gain due to slow metabolism. So if that's the case, what's the truth behind a slower metabolism? I said. In many cases, when someone gains weight despite dieting and exercise over the years, it's usually caused by one hormone. Now, this is brand new research. The hormone is called glucagon, and we've seen those who struggle the most with belly fat seem to be glucagon resistant. Glucagon, you said? The doctor said Cindy's levels were off the charts. Yes, glucagon, said Christos. You see, glucagon helps stimulate the release of sugar into your bloodstream. It's a very important hormone, but when you make these classic mistakes, you can become glucagon resistant. And the more resistant you become, the more glucagon your body needs to release, and the more sugar enters your bloodstream. And this isn't good because it can lead to diabetes and a fatty liver, all while blocking the process that keeps your metabolic cells young, healthy, and fast. This metabolic renewal process is called autophagy, and without it, you can expect a metabolism that chugs along at a snail's pace. It's why slow metabolism stays slow and eventually stops as time goes on. You see, as we get up in age and we keep making these same mistakes, this process that runs so smoothly when we're younger begins to show cracks. And it's one reason why disease begins to set in after the age of 50. It's why we become more forgetful and slower, and your metabolism unfortunately doesn't get a free pass as it slows down too, making permanent weight loss virtually impossible and chronic weight gain a daily guarantee. It's like servicing your car, Jeff. You need car parts to keep it running like new. However, if you don't make these repairs, then you're not going anywhere. For example, when scientists from France took a group of mice and changed their DNA to remove the autophagy process, the mice instantly became obese despite eating the same amount of calories as before. And not only that, the mice developed cancerous tumors. And another study from the Journal of Cellular Neurophysiology found the same thing. Except despite gaining weight, the mice also developed type 2 diabetes right away. And here's an exact illustration of what happens when this process stops. You see how the fat cells are multiplying uncontrollably? That's what's been going on inside of your wife's body, more than likely this entire time. And no matter how much dieting or exercise she does, these fat cells will keep piling on top of one another like an avalanche of body fat that's impossible to slow down. Just look at every modern society that believes in these lies, and you can see the striking similarities in obesity rates, even in places that were never full of overweight people before, like in China. But now, because of the adoption of Western practices, the amount of those overweight is doubling hand over fist every year. And with that comes more disease and a poorer quality of life because of the autophagy process in their bodies. It's broken. So I've tried to alert the World Health Organization about this, but they've turned a blind eye. Then I tried to contact a few pharmaceutical companies about this, and they just laughed. That's when I knew how crooked they were. The research is there, but they just scoffed at the idea because disease equals profits. Obesity, weight gain, all of it means more money for them. But here it was, the truth about the obesity epidemic that plagues millions because of one hormone that shut off the process that keeps your metabolism youthful, free, and fast. That's why it's not genetics, age, or someone's unique situation to blame for their weight gain. This lack of autophagy was the true culprit that made it so hard to lose weight and keep it off, yet so incredibly easy to gain it all back. Just like in Cindy's case, it's not her fault or anyone else's. But don't worry, my new friend. Everything can be reversed and then fixed. We've discovered something so remarkable, we can now work around this problem and reboot the autophagy process so anyone struggling with chronic weight gain can lose it quickly and without dieting, even if they believe they were born with terrible genetics and the slowest metabolism. And better yet, you don't need a doctor like me to prescribe it to you. All we had to do was look again at our Greek brothers and sisters. Although a majority of our population's waistlines are starting to grow, there is a select group of men that have bucked this trend. In fact, a recent study out of Cornell, one of your leading universities, found these men are some of the healthiest in the world. They're monks, and they take their religious practices very seriously. So seriously, in fact, the Greek government has granted them autonomy to govern themselves and live amongst each other on top of Mount Athos. Outside visitors are allowed, but you need to make a reservation, and the only way to get to the island is by boat. But I promise if you ever did, you'll be shocked how healthy these men are regardless of their age. And according to one investigative study, they have almost no incidence of heart disease. Their arteries are clean, and they also have little incidence of high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, cancer, or dementia. And the actual statistics are less than 2%, low enough that it was worth looking into. And not only that, Jeff, but the term obesity isn't part of their vocabulary. It's not found in their population. And this got me thinking, what is it that these men are doing that we can learn from and then apply to others to help reel in their health and flush out their stubborn weight? So I did what any great researcher would do and visit these holy men myself. But yet, despite working for the Ministry of Health, I couldn't get a reservation to visit this beautiful island until recently. That's how private these men are. When I finally landed after the long trip out there by boat, I found my small stone room inside of one of the 20 monasteries, and I settled in and got to work. And as I walked around, everyone I spoke with was so peaceful and full of smiles, but more importantly, they were healthy and normal weight. I couldn't find a hint of obesity on the island to challenge my hypothesis. Those in their 80s were as active as the young men in their 20s and 30s. It was remarkable and such a difference compared to a big city like Athens or New York. It was weird, like I'd been transported to a different time or something. But as the days passed, I observed their traditional way of life, and I noticed a few patterns that these men followed religiously. First, they led a simple life. No TV, no radio, no internet. Their days were spent in prayer or tending to the monastery. Their diet was full of fresh foods grown on the island with very little meat, yet lots of wine and olive oil. But what was really peculiar to me was this ancient spice mix that I found on almost everything. They made it once per week, usually on Mondays, and I asked multiple monks about it and what the ingredients were. But each told me it was something they couldn't reveal in the reverence of God. To them, this mixture was holy. It was made up of ingredients based on the time of Jesus. And according to them, this was their spice for life that gave them everlasting health. And they asked me if I wanted to try some, and of course I did out of respect, and immediately I could taste notes of turmeric and coffee. On the others, then I could only guess. Now, despite being denied access to this formulation, I was granted permission to take some blood samples of these men back with me to Athens to study, all in the hopes of discovering the missing link to an obesity-free life and amazing health. In total, I collected 24 samples from individuals across different age groups. Yet before I could head back and analyze these results, I had one more day left on the island, and one more walk with my friend, Father Nico, whom I'd always meet in the early evening. And he was an older gentleman. He'd lived there for over 50 years, full of laughter and cheer. It was my last day, so I had to ask him about this secret spice mixture. Well, I pleaded with him, but in a nice way. I explained to him my research and why I was on the island. I told him that I believed this ancient spice could be used for millions to help get their bodies back into aligned harmony while cleansing their spirit. We stopped on a hill way up the mountain and just looked at the sun setting into the Aegean Sea. It felt like God's paradise, like we were just steps away from heaven. And Nico just stared out over the landscape holding his cane, and then he finally opened up. You know, I've been blessed to spend my days here in such a beautiful place with my brothers, and I know my time is near, and I welcome my ascension into heaven next to our Heavenly Father. A lot of the traditionalists won't like what I'm about to do because they feel it would be a sin, but at the end of the day, I'm just a servant of God. Everything you see here was given to us by Him, including the ingredients you're so interested in. It's not for me or us to keep hidden, especially if I can help so many like you say in your research. So here you go, my son. I want you to have this. And he pulled out his hand from a long black robe and handed me a leather pouch. Open it, he said. You'll find everything you need inside. I couldn't believe it, but there it was. The entire mixture, and it wasn't much, but it was just what I needed. I got down on one knee out of respect for this man and kissed his hand. At that moment, I was given what I believed to be the possible secret weapon against the war on obesity, belly fat, and poor health. Millions of men and women in our country depended on this. The next day when I got back home, I went straight to the Ministry of Health and started analyzing these ingredients and these blood samples. And what I found shocked me to the core. The more I dug into them, the more I realized how blessed I was to have visited this holy mountain and to have befriended Nico. The first ingredient was coffee, but it wasn't just any type of coffee. These were specialty beans found only in certain regions throughout Greece and southeastern Europe. Now, normally we think of coffee as something to drink. However, coffee for thousands of years has been a popular spice. And what really caught my eye about this coffee was its effects on body fat and on your metabolism. According to one peer-reviewed study, this coffee is a powerful antioxidant that goes to work removing the old cells from your body while feeding your metabolism body fat like a furnace to burn up for energy. Not only that, I discovered this type of coffee was a potent compound that flips the switch on the autophagy process. So, we were getting somewhere without a doubt. The next ingredient was a rare form of ginger that I'd never heard of. Now, through research, we know that chronic weight gain and obesity kicks off a ton of oxidative stress and inflammation in your body, all due to free radicals, which are a leading indicator for disease. But luckily, this exotic form of ginger can round up these bad guys like a sheriff in a Wild West movie and throw them all in jail. And not only that, the individual compounds that make up the entire ginger plant have a strong anti-obesity effect by turbocharging the autophagy process inside your body. Plus, in 2 studies, it was also found to help stabilize your blood sugar levels brought about by glucagon resistance. And this type of ginger really impressed me. Now, next, there were 2 types of mushrooms that were contained in this ancient spice mix: chaga and reishi. And according to the research, both are like kryptonite to body fat simply by cranking up the autophagy process so your metabolism hums along like that of a 20-something. But out of all of the studies, one really stuck out to me about these 2 ingredients. You see, a group of international scientists wanted to study their effects on weight gain, body fat mass, and more. After the conclusion of the study, they found a decrease in body weight between 8 and 16%. So what does that mean? For most people, that's about 25 pounds of pure body fat gone. And not only that, they observed a decrease in fat deposited underneath your skin, also known as subcutaneous fat, by up to 59%. This is the type of fat that jiggles and pokes through your clothes. Plus, they observed a decrease in fat around your liver, which we found to be almost 100% caused by glucagon resistance. And next was turmeric. But just like every other spice in this mix, this wasn't just any type of turmeric. And according to the research, you can see why. One of the beautiful compliments of turmeric is its unique ability to kill cancer cells. And not only that, it's been found to remove dead or under-responding cells from the human body via the autophagy process, while also helping to keep your joints limber and pain-free by reducing systemic inflammation. The mixture also contained a hefty dose of elderberry, which is a super immune booster that's been used by Native Americans for thousands of years to treat infections. And while the ancient Egyptians used this magical plant to heal wounds and improve the complexion of their skin. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's been found in hundreds of studies to help fight off cancer cells, kill harmful bacteria that enters your body, fight off depression, normalize heart health, protect against UV radiation on your skin, all while simultaneously lowering body weight. In an observational study by Cherbasic et al., participants lost an average of 6 pounds after just 2 weeks, while 4 additional studies found this fruit to have helped to prevent unnecessary weight gain in subjects who've struggled with belly fat their entire lives. Now, there were a few more found in this ancient spice, but what I was seeing and all the supported research led me to believe that this was the reason why these monks led such a healthy life without the trappings of weight gain and the scary health effects of too much body fat. Each ingredient not only turned on the autophagy process that ignites your fat-burning metabolism, taking it from slow to fast, but has implications in improving your heart health, cancer risk, blood pressure issues, immunity to illness, and most of all, blood sugar problems caused by glucagon resistance. Which brings me to the next point. Remember those blood samples I told you about? After analyzing them in the lab, we found some remarkable similarities. Now, first of all, their inflammation levels were strikingly low. Their blood sugar levels were basically perfect, and their body's ability to clear out old dead cells via the autophagy process, which helps to keep your metabolism young and fast, was like that of a child's. Even those in their 80s, like Father Nico. Plus, their levels of glucagon were almost non-existent. Overall, these men had the metabolic age of a 24-year-old. I couldn't believe it. Yet the only thing that mattered was results on real people. So although this spice mix has been used for over a millennia, we had to test this on normal individuals living in modern society. And I had high hopes, but as a research physician, I knew that you can never predict such things, so I just took the next step and began testing this spice mix. And the first people that came to mind were my Aunt Anastasia and Uncle Georgie. Both were in their mid-70s and over the years had gained a significant amount of weight. Now, the reason I chose them was because if this spice mix worked on them, then I knew it could work for many others. They're the classic older Greek couple. So set in their ways and their diets like most Greeks, they both smoked and also enjoyed their alcohol at night. But recently their old ways were beginning to catch up with them. So if they could lose just 20 pounds, that would greatly improve their health and prolong their life. So I told my Aunt Anastasia, because my uncle's stubborn as a mule, to use this spice mix every day on any food that they ate. And they didn't need much, just enough to taste the mixture. And after 5 days, I checked back in. And during the week, they had some of the best sleep in recent memory, they told me, while their energy to get through the day improved tenfold. And after the first 5 days, my aunt was down 4 pounds and my uncle was down 7 pounds. After 2 weeks, they each lost another 4 to 5 pounds. And by the end of the month, my aunt lost 22 pounds and my uncle 25 pounds. This was remarkable. I knew we were onto something here and I had to source these delicate ingredients to make more so that we could test it on other people. Plus, I discovered a few more compounds that turbocharged this already potent formula, so it was even more effective than the original spice mix found on Mount Athos, while remaining 100% safe and natural. So now this was important. Jeff, in the last 3 months, we've now tested this on over 154 individuals with similar results as my aunt and uncle. The proof is there. But unfortunately, we're running low on funding from the government. So I'm not sure if you know about Greek politics, but we depend almost entirely on tourism. And with everything going on in the world, it's greatly impacted our funding. So the money must go to social programs and the government to keep the country running. And you know what, Jeff? I want you to have this. They might shut down my research any day now, and it would be a crime for all of this to be flushed down the toilet. Millions are depending on this, and I want you to carry the torch. I know we just met, but your story is why I became a doctor. Write this down in your phone and tell Cindy to have this mixture at least once per day. You can put it on eggs, your meat, salads, or boil it as a tea. Doesn't matter. Just don't skip days or her metabolism will shut down again. And if she has amazing success, promise to pass this along and help as many people as possible. So with that, we both finished our drinks, exchanged emails, and then we went about our own ways. That night, I got home and ran up the stairs to tell Cindy about the news. But she was already asleep, so it would have had to wait till morning. It took me the whole night to source these exotic ingredients. Some of them could only be found halfway around the world, while others were only carried by a few select companies. But overall, it took over 45 days to get everything together. Cindy's life was hanging in the balance, and all I kept thinking about was our 2 kids. They needed their mother, and I needed my wife back. So despite spending over $330, it was certainly worth a shot. Once everything came in, I prepared the mixture just like Christos told me. I drained and strained the ingredients, I cleaned them, bought a kit to test for purity and potency, and then individually added each piece in the correct order and ratios like I was preparing the most important dish of my entire life for heads of state or something like that. And then it came time for Cindy to try it. First, we boiled the mixture in a tea and gave it to her in the morning with just a little bit of raw, organic honey to mask the taste. And she didn't like it, but she did finish all of it. But then at night, I decided to make a roast chicken for both of us, and I sprinkled this mixture all over before popping it in the oven. This was a better way, Cindy told me, and she continued this for the next 7 days. That Sunday, we both woke up and just looked in each other's eyes. Something had changed. Cindy's eyes were pure white. The same eyes that I remember staring into and falling in love with all those years ago. And right away, she said she could feel a surge of energy coursing through her body the minute she woke up. We kissed, and I said I was going to get the coffee started for us. Once I got downstairs and pressed the button on the pot, I heard a scream. Immediately, I ran up the stairs thinking her heart finally gave out. And 2 seconds away from calling 911, there was Cindy, hands over her mouth, crying tears of joy as she was looking down at the scale. And I yelled, "Honey, what's wrong?" She just looked at me, then looked back at the scale. "I lost 5 pounds, she said. And I couldn't believe it, but there it was, plain as day, 5 pounds gone. She hopped off and then hopped back on again, and it was the same. We both hugged each other for what seemed like hours, but we weren't out of the woods. With all of her past failures, we desperately tried not to get ahead of ourselves, so we just kept following Christos' orders. By the end of the 2nd week, Cindy had lost 15 pounds. That was over 2 pounds per day, and it refused to slow down, because by the end of the 3rd week, she had lost 20 pounds total. By the end of the month, 32 pounds were gone, and by the 6th week, Cindy had lost a total of 51 pounds. Everything on her body had changed. The fat that used to jiggle on her arms and fold over her pants, gone. Her hips smoothed out, her face slimmed down, and her complexion was glowing. Her belly was now non-existent, and everywhere she went, people stopped and stared, especially those that knew her. They couldn't believe it. Her co-workers were baffled, and there was even a rumor going around at the school that she got $20,000 worth of plastic surgery, which just made us both laugh, basically, because we knew what really happened. But the defining nail in the coffin of her transformation happened during a checkup with the doctor. He couldn't believe her blood results. The doctor even said if she kept it up, the aneurysm on her aorta could decrease in size. Now this was music to both of our ears. That night, we celebrated. We broke open a special bottle of wine we'd been saving, and I made Cindy her favorite dinner. We just looked deeply into each other's eyes. And in that moment, we both fell head over heels for each other all over again. That's when she grabbed my hand and confessed she didn't think that she'd make it out alive, which brought tears to both of our eyes. She said, "Jeff, without you, I don't know what I would have done. You've been there for me since day one. You've been so strong this entire time. Thank you, honey, for never giving up on me, but more importantly, us. I love you with all of my heart and soul," she said. That night was one of the most intimate experiences we had in years, and all I could think about was how blessed we were to have been given this second chance at life. And just like I had promised Christos, we felt it was now our duty to pay this life-saving success forward for others like Cindy, who were bogged down by mountains of body fat, all caused by a slow metabolism that desperately needed to be fixed. However, before paying it forward, I remembered the success Christos had had in Greece with those 150-plus participants, and I felt convinced that I needed to do the same before sharing this with thousands of others. So Cindy and I started a Facebook group and invited all of our friends. And after 4 days, we had 92 people that were willing to try this fat-melting formula. All participants had at least 30 pounds to lose and were over the age of 40. So we shared the same instructions that Christos had given us and told them not to change their habits or diet, but just follow the formula. We mailed enough out to last them 3 months. And we also told them to measure their waistlines while tracking the changes on the scale. And after the 90 days, once we tallied the results, we knew this formula had to be a miracle sent down from God himself. All 92 men and women had lost weight. The average amount of weight loss was 43 pounds, and the average amount of total inches lost was 11. And every single person had to go out and buy a new wardrobe. This was incredible. Some men and women were able to come off their medication, while a few of them even reversed their high blood pressure. And the few that went to their doctor to get checked marveled at the blood work. Every marker indicated their metabolisms were now firing on all cylinders. But what struck us as weird was the more weight someone had to lose and the longer they were struggling, the better the results were. It was like their metabolism was making up for all this lost time. Finally, a safe formula existed that fixed the true root cause of obesity and chronic weight gain, all due to an old metabolism that was shut down by the trappings of this one runaway hormone. And that's without any strenuous exercise or dieting. No, the tides have changed, because once we felt confident enough in these results, it was time to fulfill my promise to Christos and help as many as I could with this life-saving secret. I have to. The larger companies won't, nor will the drug companies. But they must hear our voices, including yours, because the more, the better. Then maybe one day, this miracle could be given to every individual suffering from fistfuls of belly fat caused by a broken metabolism, instead of prescribing another bland, boring starvation diet or more hours on a treadmill. This is my hope. And I want you to be our next success story. It's why I've gone ahead and I've taken out a loan and partnered with one of the leading manufacturers in the country known for their adherence to quality, so we could get this into as many hands as possible. Cindy and I are just 2 people, but with the help of the team from Golden After 50, now the entire world can enjoy this holy formula. So with that being said, we'd love to finally introduce to you Autaphagene, the first and only super formula that finally targets the root cause of an old, slow metabolism by supporting the autophagy process in your body so that you burn through years of stubborn fat instantly. We've stopped at nothing to put this together and ensure that you get the very best when it comes to the potency of these ingredients. And with the help of Christos halfway around the world, we're now confident that this simple yet fat-melting formula can heal the world of obesity. But what's even better is now the team from Golden After 50 has gone ahead and extracted a pure form of each compound. So you can be sure that you're getting the very best in just 2 tiny capsules per day. It's why men and women all over are experiencing a rapid fat flushing effect within the first 7 days of using Autaphagene, losing between 3 to 10 pounds in the first week alone. In fact, those who've struggled the longest with the most to lose seem to have quicker results because their metabolism can finally do its job. Exercise can't do this for you, and neither can dieting, which we've gone over. This revelation is a big reason Autaphagene has taken off in the last 4 months alone, with over 250,000 bottles sold. Once you notice how quickly the scale is heading south and your body is changing before your eyes, we're willing to bet that you'll be running to tell all your friends and family about it. It's a big reason why out of these 250,000 bottles sold, over 33,219 have said yes over and over again to Autaphagene, scooping up multiple bottles at once so they never miss a day as the weight flies off of their body. Like Marianne from Charlottesville, who gave us permission to share her results. She wrote this. She said, "At first I was skeptical. I never heard about such a thing, and ended up doing my own research into this formula. But what you said was right. I didn't know my metabolism was slow all these years because of this issue. But now, life is different. In the last 5 weeks, my body's dropped 22 pounds. I feel like a new person with a heck of a lot more energy, but what I also love about this formula are all the other health effects. I can't wait to see my doctor for my annual checkup. He's going to be floored." And this is just one person. There's thousands more who have written in. Like Terry from Bradenton, Florida, who lost over 55 pounds with the help of Autaphagene. "Hi, Jeff. I just wanted to share my success with you. First, thank you for releasing this. My weight has been a struggle for me the past 20 years. Once menopause hit, my body just doubled in size. Then came the hot flashes, sleepless nights, and more. I dieted, did Pilates, but nothing worked long term. But now with Autaphagene, all of that's behind me. It fixed my broken metabolism, and I'll be ordering more soon since I'm only down to 1 bottle. God bless." And then there's this one from Jonathan in Scottsdale. "Jeff and Cindy, you two are lifesavers. To go through what you went through and to come out the other side and then help others, it's a testament to the type of people that you are. I'm 8 weeks into using Autaphagene and my waist has shrunk by 6 inches. I've also lost over 42 pounds, and that's from taking the formula every other day for the last 2 weeks. The weight loss was so fast that I got nervous thinking something might be wrong. And my wife even made me visit the doctor, but everything checked out and I'm healthy as a horse." And just like these few people out of thousands, it's now your turn to be our next success story. Just imagine waking up and looking in the mirror at a body that you love. To put on a new pair of jeans, a shirt, and have it fit perfectly to you in all the right areas. Or watch as your friends, coworkers, and family members can't help but gush with envy at what you've accomplished without the starvation diets, hours on a treadmill, or crazy detox programs that leave you moody and lightheaded every time you stand up. All of this will soon happen as you brush away the years of covering up and finally step into the person you've always wanted to be, full of confidence and happiness because your weight and image are no longer holding you back. It can feel like you've won $1 million. But really, what you're about to experience with Autaphagene is priceless because you can't put a price on this life-saving formula, and why I need to keep my promise to Christos to share it with the rest of the world. It's why myself and the team from Golden After 50 have gone above and beyond to secure up to 1,000 acres of pristine, rich soil to grow these ingredients personally to ensure we never run out of Autaphagene due to demand. Plus, guarantee a quality assurance that goes above and beyond the norm set forth by the FDA. It's why everything is sourced and formulated here in the U.S. and never imported from China like many companies do. And what's even better is you won't have to pay the original $330 like I did in the beginning for a month's supply. I'm going to go out on a limb and do something I've never done before. You see, after witnessing what Cindy went through and her remarkable transformation along with so many others, I knew the pain this weight gain and all of its negative health effects could have on you and those that you love. And it's not fair, and it's no way to go through life feeling helpless and hopeless. So that's why I don't want finances to be an issue for you at all. And why you won't have to pay $330 for a 30-day supply. Not even $220 or $120. See, what I've done is I've set aside a special batch of Autaphagene for new customers like yourself today, which means you can grab your own 30-day supply of this fat-melting formula for just the one-time payment of $59. That's over 75% off the original retail price of the formula when we first released it to the general public. However, because you're here today, you can enjoy Autaphagene for the low price that you see below. But I urge you to act quickly before this video ends because we only have a limited supply at this particular price. And due to our media popularity, thousands are flooding this site on a daily basis. So it's first come, first serve. Once we're out of this special batch that I've set aside for today, we're out, which means the price will go back to the original. Now, real quickly, before you make your selection below, I need to be upfront and honest with you about Autaphagene and how to get the best results possible. Once we've released Autaphagene to the general public, we've noticed that those who see the best results right away use the formula for at least 90 to 120 days. So you see, the more you use the formula, the faster the full spectrum of ingredients will start to build up in your body as your metabolism transforms from sluggish and slow to lightning fast. And I've spoken to Christos about this. Based on his research, he believes this happens because of years of lost fat-burning potential. So it's your body's way of making up for lost time. That's why you need at least 90 to 120 days of Autaphagene to see the permanent results that you deserve. So I'd urge you to choose at least the 90-day package below because when you do, you'll actually pay less per bottle. And when you do what some of our most successful and savvy customers do, which is pick up the 6-month option, you'll save hundreds of dollars more, and that's a huge savings. And like I said, it's what many of our most successful clients and customers do, especially the ones who write in and tell us about their life-saving transformations. So to get started, just choose the 3 or 6-month option below, or whichever option works best for you, and a new page will open up with your choice. From there, fill in your details on our own secure and private checkout page, click the Buy button, and our warehouse team will automatically get a notification about your order. And from there, everything will be boxed up and shipped out immediately, arriving at your doorstep just a few days from now. And also, there's no hidden charges or weird subscriptions. We hate those as much as you do. So just choose your favorite package below to get started. And because I want you to feel fully confident and secure in your purchase today, we'd love to give you a 90-day, 100% money-back guarantee. This 90-day guarantee is yours with your purchase today. Once you see the changes in the mirror and on the scale, we're willing to bet you'll never want to go another day without it in your corner as your brand new metabolism hums along, burning fat around the clock. But however, if for some reason you're not satisfied with all this new energy that you'll experience along with a noticeable decrease on the scale, plus the inches lost around your most stubborn body parts, then just write us and tell us, and we'll be happy to grant you a refund. And you can also call our customer department number as well. We'll give you that number after you order, and you can speak to one of our friendly customer care representatives, even if you went through all the bottles. So how does that sound? We don't see anyone else giving you this type of peace of mind guarantee. But that's how confident we are, though, in the formula. And also why the word about Autaphagene is spreading like wildfire. Those with at least 15 to 30 plus pounds to lose are flocking to this video by the thousands and ordering the 3 to 6 month packages below. That's why it's time to act now, before these supplies run out at these ridiculously low prices. The last time we sold out, it was 2 months before we had supplies back in stock again. So to get started, just choose the 3 or 6 month package below, or whichever one works the best for you. And in just a few days from now, you'll join the ranks of thousands of others who've enjoyed Autaphagene and its belly fat flattening effects. I just can't wait for you to hop on the scale day after day and smile as the number flashes back lower each time. I can't wait for you to look in the mirror and smile because you see these slimming changes happening every single week. And when you finally head to the store to buy a new pair of jeans, a shirt, or outfit, how happy you'll be trying everything on to show off your brand new body. Your energy levels will be through the roof. Your endurance and stamina to get through the day will feel effortless, and your mood will permanently be set to happy with 10 times more confidence than before. Just don't be surprised if others take notice and begin paying you all the compliments. It's going to feel great, It's going to feel so amazing. This is one of the easiest decisions you'll ever have to make. Because with a 90-day ironclad guarantee, you literally have nothing to lose except all the fat. It's that easy. So make your choice below before time runs out, because we're getting near the end of this video, which means you're at a crossroads and there's really only two options here. Now, option one is to forget everything you've just heard and read with your own eyes and keep doing what you've done before. You can keep dieting, you can keep exercising, and struggling, but just like before, it's not going to help you arrive at your permanent destination. I mean, yeah, you might lose some weight, but it'll just come back like it did before. You might lose some inches, but your stomach and midsection will return with a vengeance. This happens in 98% of men and women who lose weight using the same age-old advice the diet companies and weight loss conglomerates preach. And we're not even touching on the impact it could have on your health, your heart, your lifespan, those you love. I'm sure you've been trying so hard, but if you're not getting where you need to be, after watching this video, I hope now you see that it wasn't your fault. You're never going to learn this information from the billion-dollar weight loss companies. They want you as a customer for life. It's why most spend upwards of $10,000 over the course of their lifetimes trying to lose weight without getting anywhere. It's sad, but also why we're so excited about Autaphagene. In the end, you're here for a reason. You made it this far because you're done feeling sad, tired, and low about your weight. You want more out of life. You want to feel happy. You want more energy. You want to shine. And I want that for you too. And that's why the best and smart choice is to go with option number 2. Order Autaphagene today. Like the other 33,219 success stories to date have so far, and finally lose what's been bothering you. All that body fat and all of that weight. With Autaphagene in your corner, your metabolism will finally have what it needs to burn through all your stubborn fat without the grueling exercise and bland, boring, crave-inducing diets. In just a few weeks from now, you're going to look like a totally different person. Others will see it and they'll love it. And so will you. You'll no longer feel disgusted or ashamed about your body. You'll no longer feel guilty about eating in front of other people. And you'll no longer beat yourself up for not having the body and health that you know you deserve. With Autaphagene, everything you've wanted and seen in your mind will now be yours for the taking. We're opening the door for you on this page to experience a rapid yet gentle removal of fat from your belly, hips, thighs, and arms, plus the ageless vitality that'll have you running laps around those half your age. Because not only will you experience a surge in energy and stamina, your heart health will massively improve. Your blood sugar levels will normalize, and your risk of disease associated with lack of autophagy in your body from before will be cut in half. So if you're ready to make a permanent change, choose the 3 or 6 month package below, or whichever one works best for you before supplies run out. Remember, you have nothing to lose today with your personal 90-day money-back guarantee. There's zero risk. So if you're ready to walk down this path to a brand new you, choose your favorite package below. Fill in your details on the next page and you'll receive everything in the next couple of days. I can't wait to hear about your successes, and thank you for watching. Oh, hey there. You still have some questions? Well, we get plenty every day. So here's some of the common questions that we get along with their answers. Can I get this anywhere else? Well, not at the moment. You can't. We might have Autaphagene available in retail soon. However, we'd have to raise the price to $79 a bottle if that was the case because, of the middleman. So the only place to get Autaphagene is here on this site. It's also not available on Amazon. What kind of results will I notice with Autaphagene? Preliminary results from Christo's research and our own has found that you could lose between 3 to 10 pounds in the first week. And not only will you lose this fat that slowed you down, you'll also notice a quick uptick in energy and stamina. And once you feel this, you can rest assured the formula is going to work inside of your body, burning through pounds of stubborn fat. Plus, your everyday health markers could improve like blood sugar and more. So really, this is an all-in-one nutritional powerhouse that you can't find anywhere else. What happens if I lose weight too fast? What should I do? Well, if you're losing too much weight too fast, we advise customers to take Autaphagene every other day. And this usually happens to those who have at least 20 plus pounds to lose and have been on the yo-yo dieting train for years. But what if it doesn't work? Well, with 6 billion people on the planet, there will be some that this doesn't work for, just like a prescription medication. However, over 97.5% of men and women report remarkable results just because Autaphagene gets to the heart of obesity and a slow metabolism. But however, if you're one of the 2.5%, don't worry because you're protected by a 90-day guarantee. Are there any side effects? There are no side effects with Autaphagene. Everything is 100% natural and safe in the formula. Plus, you can rest assured it's formulated here in the U.S. while following the strictest quality standards. How do I take Autaphagene? Just 2 capsules in the morning with a glass of water. That's all you need. You can take it with or without food. However, most take it with food. So, if you're ready, just choose your favorite package below to get started. And I can't wait to hear about how fast you're noticing results in the mirror and scale. Your happiness and joy means the world to us. So if you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. Your new body is waiting. Just choose your favorite package below to get started, and I can't wait to hear about your success.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click the link below in order to find out more.